Hi guys, welcome to another video. Hope you're all keeping well. Now in this video I'd like to talk about a fantastic book about one of my all-time favourite horror stars, and that star is the late great Lon Chaney Jr. Now I grew up watching Lon Chaney Jr.'s movies, you know, the old Universal movies, growing up in the late 60s, and when I saw The Wolfman, I was absolutely blown away by Lon's performance as Larry Talbot, you know, the doomed lycanthrope. Now this is the best book I've ever had on Lon Chaney Jr. It's called Lon Chaney Jr. Heir to the Monster Throne, the story of classic horror cinema's master character creator. Written by Nigel Burton, Jamie Jones and Alex Hopkins. Now I'll just show you the interior of this book just to give you an idea of, you know, if you buy it, what's inside for you. So there are some great fantastic photos in this. There's the back there from one of Lon Chaney's movies, Pillow of Death. So I'll just have a look inside for you. That's a great one of the Wolfman there. See that one? Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, my all-time favourite comedy movie. That's when Lon played the Frankenstein monster in The Ghost of Frankenstein. So yeah, as I say, truly a fantastic book. It really is. Photos of him when he was young. But yeah, I'd name him as one of the my all-time top 5 horror icons. You know, the Wolfman, his most famous role. He used to refer to the Wolfman as my baby. You know, because yeah, he was just the greatest Wolfman ever. You know, in my opinion. Another photo, some early photos of Lon as a youngster. Yeah. So the son of the great Lon Chaney, who was also a horror actor. He always sort of was very consummate in his makeup, you know, getting made up for all the movies and that. But there's the old gypsy woman from The Wolfman, Maria Ouspenskaya. The Wolfman's a truly atmospheric movie. I mean, like when I first saw it in the late 60s, you know, as a kid, I was just like I was with Boris Karloff's Frankenstein monster. I was absolutely blown away. And these were the movies that made me a horror fan. You know, these movies with Lon Chaney Jr., Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi. This is where me love for horror started. That's another clip from the House of Frankenstein, where Talbot's revived from the ice by the evil Dr. Nimon, played by Boris Karloff. And also the Frankenstein monster. That's a great picture of Lon there. So yeah, I think Lon Chaney brought a certain pathos to the role of the doomed lycanthrope Larry Talbot, because, you know, you really felt sorry for him. Like, you know, unlike all the other werewolf movies we've seen. I mean, like, some of them were good, but they didn't quite have that extra special bit of magic what Lon brought to the role. There's Evelyn Ankers, who starred with him in The Wolfman. There's some pretty fantastic photos in there. He is again in his mummy makeup. Some fantastic photos in this book. That's when he played the son of Dracula, but of course it was really Dracula. Count Alucard was Dracula spelled backwards. Some cool photos here. Absolutely love this book. Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, one of my all-time favourite horror movies. Love the opening scene in that, where the grave robbers break into the Talbot crypt and try to rob his jewels. And as they try to rob the jewellery, the full moon, you know, rises, and of course, he's been dead 4 years, and of course, once the rays of the moon shine on Larry's form, you know, it brings him back to life, and of course, he grabs hold of the gravedigger, you know, and basically all hell breaks loose. I just love that movie. I've watched it so many times, and it's great to have it on Blu-ray, you know, along with all the other Universal monster movies. So yeah, this is a fantastic book, and if you love Lon Chaney Jr., I highly recommend that you get this book. Fantastic. That was the movie, The House of Dracula. That was the one where Lon Chaney finally got cured by Dr. Edelman. So after all those years of being the Wolfman and rampaging around the countryside, murdering people, you know, and all the disappointments he had, looking for a cure, even a release, even he wanted to die, you know, to be free from his lycanthrope curse. I absolutely loved it that they finally gave him a happy ending in The House of Dracula. Of course, there was one more Lon Chaney werewolf movie, and that was Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, which was made in 1948. But I tend to regard that as more of a side in its own universe. You know, it's sort of like it's a spoof. It's a sort of like one last homage, I think, to the Universal monster. So I do prefer to regard the Talbot character as cured as he was in the House of Dracula. So yeah, as I say, I just regard the Abbott and Costello movie as sort of like an aside, like something to just laugh at and that, just for a bit of fun, throwing all the monsters together and that, you know. It was good to see Bela Lugosi back again as Count Dracula in that movie. Oh, if only Boris Karloff. I mean, Glenn Strange did a good job as the monster, but I would have loved to have seen Boris Karloff reprise his role as the Frankenstein monster. I think he was offered it, but I think he turned it down, I think due to health reasons. But anyway, fantastic movie. This is a great photo of the Wolfman. So yeah, this is a fantastic book about Lon Chaney Jr. I've got another book arrived the other day, and this goes into some more detail. I'll most probably do a review of that in a future video. But as I say, yeah, this is a truly awesome book. It takes you right up to his last movies and that, you know. Loved him in Witchcraft as well, in the early 60s movie where he was a warlock, a high priest, and when the grave of one of his relatives was desecrated, you know, he basically hit the roof and that, you know. So, but I won't tell you too much about Witchcraft in case you haven't seen it. That's a good one of Lon in later life. Truly fantastic actor, he really was. He was one of the best in my opinion. But he stands tall in regards to playing a Wolfman. He stands head and shoulders above all the rest. He really does. Just never get tired of watching him in that role. So many iconic scenes as well in his movies and that, you know. I love the part when in Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, where he goes to Viceria with Maliva, the gypsy woman, whose son Bela was responsible for turning Talbot into the werewolf and the Wolfman. So yeah, where he go to look for Dr. Frankenstein, and the villagers tell him Frankenstein perished in his castle and that, you know, and you really feel sorry for Talbot, you know, when he looks absolutely devastated, you know, when he hears the news of Dr. Frankenstein's dead, whom you know, he was led to believe Maliva recommended Dr. Frankenstein to him because as the only man who could cure him. But of course, alas, he perished in his castle. But he does go up. I won't tell you too much about Frankenstein meets the Wolfman in case you haven't seen it. But fantastic movie, you know. And of course, the House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula, you know, just fantastic. So yeah, if you love Lon Chaney Jr., guys, I'd highly recommend that you get this book. It's more of a magazine really than an actual book, but as I say, you know, I'm sure you'll agree there's some fantastic stills in this, and you know, a background on Lon Chaney Jr. and his life and that. So yeah, thoroughly enjoy reading this book, and you know, I can highly recommend it to any Lon Chaney Jr. fan. Okay guys, thanks.